Covington as UFC champion, what would that look like? How do you guys see that? How do you envision that? I mean, right, I get it. 170 pounds, and there's Colby, and they put a belt around him. I get it. But has he ever gotten a fair shake? I mean, I'm just asking this. I will tell the Colby story to some people, and they think it's a riddle. They think I'm trying to trick them. I'm not. I'm just telling them what happened. Colby Covington won the interim championship. He kept fighting. He wasn't hurt. He wasn't injured. He wasn't delayed. He continued fighting. One day he woke up and he was no longer interim champion. I didn't say he lost. I didn't say he got beat. I didn't say they stripped it. I didn't say he refused to fight somebody. I didn't say that he missed weight. I didn't say any of those things. He's the interim champion. One day he wakes up. He's no longer the interim champion. That happened. Colby Covington fought the BMF champion and won without controversy. It was unanimous. It was done in front of the world on something called pay-per-view. There was never a time that Colby was the BMF champion. So he wins an interim championship, and one day he wakes up, he's not interim champion. He beats the BMF champion and never became the BMF champion. Like, this isn't a joke. So I'm asking, what would happen here? I imagine the quickest turnaround of all time, right? He's probably going to be given 30 days and thrown back in there with something. I mean, like, something's going to happen that's going to be baffling. And it would seem like we know who's next. It would seem like it's Belal Muhammad. Now, I know I'm getting ahead of myself, and I know that Leon Edwards can speak for himself, and that's a tall order, but the point that I'm trying to get, the entire theme of this, is what happens with Colby as champion. It's not a foregone conclusion, but what happens if he's champion? Does Belal come right in? Do we activate that? Do we turn around? Okay, here's Colby's first title defense. Or does a guy like Islam Makhachev, who's been a little froggy and been wanting to jump, right? He's been wanting to jump around weight classes. He's been wanting to leave. He just honored it. He just honored it from another guy that wanted to jump to his. And at some point, he's going to go, hey, boss, today. And he's going to go, look what I've done, but now I want to do it. I made it possible for this guy to jump over to my lily pad. I want to jump to Colby's. Can we do it? And then what happens if the answer is yes? What happens then? What do we do with Belal? Where does Belal go? Do we interim championship the thing? Do we even know? At this point in time, has Chimaev come back? If he did come back, where did he come back at? Did he do it at 85? So now he's out of the conversation. How about Kamaru Usman? Did Kamaru Usman come back? But he also decided to stay at 85, so he's also out of the equation. So now we got a real small pool down here. By the time Colby gets the belt, you're just going to have got Rakhmonov still sitting out there 16-0, 8 this way and 8 the other way. You got Belal Muhammad. I imagine you got Leon wanting to do a rematch, but imagine Leon's spot. Leon, right now, for the first time, they gave him the gun. And then they asked him to do one thing, which was fight Colby, and he took that gun and pointed it right at him. We don't do things the way you want to do them. That's what he did. That's okay. Those things can all get worked out. But what happens if you lose the strap? If you lose the strap, you lose the gun. Now you got nothing to point. Last time you pointed it at dry fire, but this time you don't even have anything to point. What's that going to be like? How difficult is it going to be between right now with Leon and the second floor of the UFC, and by the time that Colby and Leon get in there, how difficult is it going to be to get the champ in there? Because that will tell us volumes about how quickly our new number one contender is going to get turned around. And if we're not turning him around very quickly, if we're not in a hurry to do him a favor, then we might as well take our time. See who does have the crown at 85, and if it's compelling. See who does have the crown at 55. Take our time. See if that matchup is compelling. Or go right on with Belal Muhammad, but we still want to have a backup fighter. We still want to know what's next for the guy that's next. I don't know that I've ever seen a career quite like Colby's. The way the story at least goes, they're getting ready to cut him. The reason he wasn't cut is because he then becomes a huge crowd favorite. I like the story told that way, so I'll roll with it. Wow, quite a yin and a yang there. Not good enough to fight for a championship. Then again, he's good enough that he beat all 7 guys in a row that you gave him. Got choked out by Warley one time. Got up, straightened that out 3 times in a row. I'm just saying it doesn't seem to make sense. He gets an interim championship belt put on him. Nobody ever beats him for the belt. They take the belt away. He beats the BMF champion. They never once made him the BMF champion. It just seems like there's some really weird things that happen or some really weird things that follow him. I don't think that that's going to end once he connects with the crown. So I'm just asking for predictions. What do you think it'll be? What do you think of Colby Covington championship reign is going to look like?